This is One-on-One. You're looking at Margarete Cassalina, who is the author of a wonderful book, a powerful book called Beyond Breathing. Margaret is the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation advocate, public speaker, and she has got an incredible, moving story. How are you doing?
I'm doing well today. Thank you, Steve.
Let's do this. You wrote this book. It's a powerful book about you and your daughter, Jenna.
Jenna.
You, two children.
Yes.
Eric, who is 20.
Yes.
And Jenna.
She just turned 19 in heaven yesterday.
Yeah. Both of them were born, or developed, cystic fibrosis.
Yep, they were born with it. It's an inherited genetic disease.
Right. And while Eric is still being challenged, let's say, you literally, as we're doing this program, we're up in Westchester, where you're from, and our children happen to be in the pediatric intensive care units, dealing with different things, but he's dealing with it, right?
Yes, he is, very well.
But in 2006, Jenna lost that battle. When did you know you wanted to write about it and share the story of her life?
The funny thing is, everybody says, oh, you have such an inspirational book, and I said, no, I don't. I have a journal that you read. It's my journal. It was probably a few months after she moved up that I was devastated. I didn't care about showering or any eating, and I needed to get some of that emotion out, and I started writing. And I wrote—
Just for yourself?
Just for myself. It's only for myself. I just needed to get it out. I needed to express it somehow. But I would share it with my girlfriends and my husband, and they were like, you have got to share this with other people. And one thing led to another, and it got published. And somehow I received all these awards for the book on top of it. And friends and family have just said how inspired they are by my book. And they said it's so real and so raw, and I never knew about cystic fibrosis until I read your book.
What's the message?
The message is life gives you lemons sometimes, and you have to make lemonade out of it. And I think that's a poor example.
How hard is it to make lemonade?
It's pretty hard.
I was gonna say,
it's pretty hard.
some of those lemons are pretty...
Yeah, they get you in your eye every once in a while.
Yeah. But you have to. The alternative is not
choice.
acceptable, is
I
it?
have no choice. It's in me. I have to do what I can. I have to.
You know what's interesting is I thought I knew what cystic fibrosis, I thought I knew what it is,
right.
what it was. I didn't really understand the degree of the debilitating impact that it has. Talk about what it really is.
It is a genetic disease. It impacts your lungs and your digestive system. That's basically what it does. It creates bacteria in your lungs, which creates mucus, which you have to combat with airway clearances and also antibiotics. At some point, how much bacteria you have depends on how much antibiotics you take, and at some point you get resistant to those antibiotics, and the mucus builds, and you can't expel that out, and eventually you suffocate, and that's what happened to my daughter. Her lungs got so damaged, and she was awaiting a double lung transplant, and it never happened.
Tell me what kind of little girl she was.
She was amazing. Anybody who has met her or has read the book says your daughter is and will always be amazing.
What made her so amazing?
She had a light and that's my girl. That's her. She's a fighter. She was a fighter from day one. She could debate you. She could debate anyone on any topic. Very. She read college-age books at the age of 13. Her last book she was reading was Atlas Shrugged. The thing she highlighted on that was pain was not a valid reason for stopping, and that has carried me when pain is just not a valid.
She highlighted that.
She highlighted that in the book, and I came across it after she had moved up. I was going through her stuff, and that's the kind of girl she was.
Was there a part of you, is there a part of you as strong as you appear to be and are, as motivating and inspiring as you are? Is there a part of you that said, or continues to say, hey, wait a minute, let me get this right. I not only had one child with cystic fibrosis, but I had two?
Oh, I don't say why me.
You do not?
No. It's moot. What's the point? I can't change it. I wouldn't trade any. That's their pills for 1 month. That's a 1 month supply of pills that they took
Give me
when
the
they
ages
were
there.
8 and 6. My
8
son
and
was
6.
8 and my daughter was 6 there. He's now going to be 21 this summer. Yeah.
That's the kind of medication.
Yeah.
That's the amount, the volume.
Plus also, they also have cystic fibrosis related diabetes, which includes insulin shots and testing of that nature as well.
What is that on your wrist?
This is something, and this is in the beginning of the book. It's my Breathe bracelet from the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation. It says breathe because it reminds me to breathe. I forget sometimes. And it's www.cff.org.
What's the message for everyone else today? Because you're an advocate.
A huge
What do you
advocate.
want us to do? What do you want Congress?
Money. All right, here's the thing.
By the way, there's no federal money that goes
No.
into research for this? I read that. I thought that had
It's
to be
an
a
orphan
typo.
disease. No, orphan
What do you mean
disease.
it's an orphan disease?
Cystic fibrosis affects 30,000. So that's not enough to qualify for a real disease. Orphan disease are less than 200,000. So therefore, the federal government cannot say, hey, let me support this. But they do, however, support in many ways. Where I'm an advocate, I go on Capitol Hill and I say about CF. I want them to know about CF. So what we've done is we've created with a whole bunch of people nationwide the Cystic Fibrosis Caucus. And what that does is it enables people to get involved, to know what cystic fibrosis is, and they can support the National Institutes of Health because that indirectly does support the CF Foundation. So if you support that, you support us, and good to go. It also provides newborn screening, so all 50 states can have early intervention with those with cystic fibrosis. State by state has approved that all newborns will get tested for cystic fibrosis, and that's something that's fairly new because of the advocacy on the Hill.
You know, I figured something out.
What?
I could tell where Jenna got her fighter spirit.
Oh, I'm a fighter.
She got it from you. And
fight.
all our best to your husband and your son.
Thank you.
And to Jenna.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Funding for this edition of One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been provided by the Adler Aphasia Center, empowering, enhancing, and enriching the lives of people with aphasia and their families. The Russell Berry Foundation, Fedway Associates, Inc., J.H. Cohn, Accountants and Consultants. We turn expertise into results. And by the Christian Plumeri Foundation. Promotional support provided by The Record, North Jersey's trusted source, and northjersey.com. Transportation provided by Airbrook Limousine, serving the metropolitan New York, New Jersey area. One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been produced in partnership with St. Joseph's Healthcare System.